Okie dokie. Live. Give me a second here. Let me look at this final thing. Yes. Okay. Good evening. Continuing our study of Bhagavad-gita, chapter 9. The passage is basically from verse 11 to verse number 24. But we'll only be doing 4 verses of that passage today. Verse 11 to 14 today. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshuru Militamina Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. So in the previous passage, verses 4 to 10, Krishna was describing how he is the 9, chapter 9, verse 4 through 10. In that passage, Krishna was describing how he was the creator, maintainer, and destroyer of the worlds. And how basically this whole process is going by his power. He does not have to directly involve himself in the affairs of creation, maintenance, and destruction. But simply by his will, he is able to do this, you recall. Therefore, he cannot assume the responsibility, or he does not assume the responsibility of the various states that the souls meet in the material world. The good and evil states they get. People like to blame God for that. If God is good, why if God is good, why he has created these differences in conditions? But he is not directly involved, so he cannot be blamed for that also. That is happening on account of the karmas that the jivas perform, and they're getting the results. And then God, by his power, is facilitating that process, but he is not directly involved in it. Maya adhyakshena pakritihi suyache satarachanam hetunanena kontya jagavi parivartate. So he summarizes that whole topic by saying, Maya adhyakshena, this whole process is going on under my glands. Maya adhyakshena pakritihi, by my glands, pakriti generates the moving and non-moving entities. Hetunanena kontya, by this particular cause, these things are going on. So Krishna is basically giving a description of his powers, and as we discussed in the last class, the description of God's power is nourishing to bhakti. Just so therefore it has been described. So now someone may place a doubt that this form that performs this function of creation, maintenance, and destruction is Mahavishnu and Garbhodakshay Vishnu. They're forms of Vishnu. And Krishna has 2-armed form. So they say, yes, this is true for that Mahavishnu form, but this is not you, Krishna himself, because he's just a human being. He cannot do. So because Krishna has human form, people have different concept of who Krishna is. Some think he is an ordinary person. Some think he is like a very great person, sadhu, but still ordinary. Some think he is an incarnation of Vishnu, but not the source of Vishnu. There are many different concepts are there. So according to your concept of the Godhead, then that will determine the nature of your approach. And according to the nature of your approach, that will determine the nature of your realization. Yet Krishna says in the Bhagavad-gita, Yayata mam prapadyante tam sataiva bhajamiham, right? That according to how you surrender unto me, I reciprocate accordingly. Right? So the nature of your surrender will be based on what? Your knowledge, isn't it? What you know, how you conceive of Krishna. Your praxis will be based on your knowledge. That's why Shravanam is so important, so that the nature of so that we can approach in a way that allows for the greatest reward, the greatest reciprocation. So he has said that. So according to your concept, there will be a practice, and according to your practice, there will be a reciprocation. And so in passage 11 through 24, we're basically hearing about Krishna talks about his own self, but now we hear about how others conceive of him, and what is the result that those conceptions afford them. Understand? So this is verse 11. In verse 11 and 12, Krishna first speaks kind of about the atheist person, or the person who has material concept of him. Avajananti ma mudha manusham tanumashritam param bhavamajananto mama bhuta maheshwaram. So Krishna says here, this is translation. Fools deride me when I descend in the human form. They do not know my transcendental nature as the supreme lord of all that be. So avajananti ma mudha. So the muda means a foolish person. Avajananti ma, the foolish person, they deride me. When do they deride you? Manusham tanum ashritam. When I take shelter of a human form, tanum means form, a man form, then they deride me. So you're not going to deride Nishinga's form. Very dangerous. Nishinga has many arms and sharp teeth and so on. If Lord Nishingadev appears, you're not going to deride him. Even if you have some doubts about him being God, you'll keep it to yourself. Isn't it? I always used to joke our devotees when we sing the Nishinga prayers every time, usually after kirtan, Namaste, Nadasin, you know this prayer? As a prayer to Lord Nishingadev, he's half man, half lion. I always imagine, suppose Nishingadev would just manifest as we were singing. And many of us know that our hearts are not in good condition. All sort of fakery is there. So suppose, Namaste, immediately you get up, move, running down the stairs, you'd be nervous. Similarly, if the Lord comes as Bora incarnation, that is also very extraordinary. He comes out of Brahma's nose and becomes very huge size. You're not going to deride that form as such. But when God comes as human being and his activities are very human-like, it's very bewildering. So people say, this person, he's just an ordinary person. So they deride like this, that he's just an ordinary person. Why we should worship God. So this is basically called anthropomorphism. So anthropomorphism means you superimpose your own humanity onto divinity. And so you imagine that, spiritual is human because you are human. So in this thinking, you take your understanding of humanity to be the comprehensive understanding of humanity. And that's the only way you can use your own humanity as a reference point for all humanity. You think by knowing yourself, then you know all of humanity. But what if you were just like, I don't know what's the way to put this. What if you're just like a poor version of humanity and you're not really a good reference point to use for understanding humanity? You understand? What if something is the original humanity, original prototype, and we like bad versions of that? I'm trying to think of a good example. Just like when I was growing up, I had the Power Ranger toys. Power Rangers were very popular. And I had Power Rangers toys that I got from McDonald's. Anyway, many of you some of you grew up with McDonald's, right? Everyone here is not devotee. So we grew up with McDonald's, and in McDonald's, they would have the Happy Meals, and then they would give toys inside the Happy Meal. So I had the Power Rangers toys for a period of time, but they were like a cheap version of like an actual Power Ranger toy, but it was affordable. So similarly, you're thinking of yourself as the reference point for all of humanity. So you think you can understand Krishna's humanity from looking at your own humanity. But what if you're just a really bad version of the actual prototype humanity? And therefore, in order to understand your own humanity, you have to actually look at the prototype humanity, which is Krishna. So anthropomorphism, they say it's because we're imposing our own humanity. But we say that is because you think you're the reference point human, that you're actually doing this anthropomorphism. So therefore, the confusion is coming. So they, avajanati mam buddha manusham. So they deride Krishna. He's just an ordinary person. They don't want to worship him. Or there are other groups, bhakti groups, they think Krishna is just like some special incarnation of Vishnu or something. They're like devotees also, but they think Krishna's form is ordinary. So they also don't find it worshipable. Our commentators are mentioning this. So Krishna says, "Is param bhava majananto." They do not know that my form, my human form, is the supreme form. Mama bhuta maheshwaram. It is the Maha Ishwaram, the supreme Lord of everything that is. So he says this earlier also. So they're confused by his human form. This is the point that's being made here. So what is the result? What is the result of this? So that is verse 12. What is the result of this conception? Mogasha mogakarmano mogagana vichetasaha rakshasya masurim chaiva pakritam mohinam shrita. So asha means hope. So moga means finished or baffled. So all their hopes are baffled. Moga karmana, all their fruitive activities that are baffled. Moga jnana vicheta, and all their knowledge is baffled. These terms actually refer to different types of practitioners that have different conceptions of the Godhead. So the word asha here refers to people who are devotees, but they think Krishna is ordinary person. So they have hopes of achieving a certain type of liberation called this salokya mukti. Salokya mukti means going to the planet of the Lord, going back to the spiritual world. So they have that hope, but they have this concept of Krishna, that he's an ordinary person, he's not worshipable. So Krishna says, Moga Asha, your hope for getting Salokya is finished, baffled, because you have this concept of me. Similarly, Moga Karma, if you are Karmi, Karmi means a materialistic, religious person. Devotees, we are fond of calling people outside as Karmis, the Karmis, and demons. We like those two terms the most. But Karmi means a religious person who performs pious activities for going to a heavenly region, Swargaloka. They are called as Karmis. So outside, there are no Karmis. They're outside, they're called as Vikarmis. Vikarmi means someone who does sinful activities to enjoy. So Karmi is a person who does pious activities to enjoy. And ultimately, they want to enjoy in heaven. Okay? They're called as Karmi. Outside, they're called as Vikarmis. Are there any Karmis in the world? Only a few. So if you're a Karmi and you want to go to heaven to enjoy by pious activities, Krishna say Moga Karmano. That also is baffled. You will not make it because you think like this about Krishna, that he's an ordinary person. Your attempt to go to heaven, that will be baffled. And then Moga Jnana. Jnana refers to those who perform Jnana Yoga for attaining liberation. They want mukti. But they think Krishna is an ordinary person. So Moga Jnana, your attempt for liberation, that is also baffled. So none of you will get the results of your particular sadhana just because you had this particular concept. Now, conceptions are very important. Just like if you're looking for, I don't know, what's a good example? If you're looking for something, like suppose you're looking for your keys, but you think you left your keys in the temple room, but you left the keys in the ashram. And now one conception keeps all your energy directed only in the temple room and not ever looking in the ashram. Sometimes it happens with people who wear glasses that we go like this. And if you do like this long enough, you forget, like you become so accustomed to the feeling that you don't realize that the glasses are on your head. So then suppose one devotee is cleaning up in the ashram. So you said, Prabhu, I have my glasses right here. What did you do with them? So the devotee was like, I didn't touch your glasses. You're like, Prabhu, I have my glasses right here. What did you do with them? And you get like worked up, you know? He said, no, I didn't touch your glasses. And he also doesn't see that the glasses on your head because right now false ego is getting triggered, so it's about to be a fight. So he also doesn't see that the glasses on your head. He said, no, Prabhu, I have my glasses right here. You know, the huge fight will break out. Then the devotee says, oh, in your head. Oh, okay, cool. He don't even apologize or anything. But just because that one misconception is there, you know, you're looking for glasses here, but glasses on your head, but you don't have that concept. So all your energy is misdirected. Similarly, someone is looking for Bhakti Center. Bhakti Center is in East Village. But someone thinks Bhakti Center is in West Village. So they go all the way to West Village and they're looking at 25, whatever, some address they're looking for, but they're like, where is it at? Where is it at? They cannot find. Because of that one misconception. It's very powerful. Yeah, one misconception, you can put all your energy very fast in the wrong direction. Just like suppose you're driving towards Bhakti Center and West Village, so you're driving very fast in the wrong direction. So even if you have bad, let's say by karmic situation, you don't live a very nice life, or you fall out, even if you fall out of Krishna consciousness for a period of time. But if you have the right conception, you are saved, because you'll be moving in slow degrees in the right direction. But even if you have very nice practices right now, for the time being, but you don't have the right conceptions, you are doomed. Because your conceptions will carry you in the wrong direction. You understand? They'll carry you in the wrong direction. Many times we can see this happen. Therefore, again, the importance of hearing. Just like now, we are become devotees, right? Some sort of devotee. You're a devotee? Jai is a simple heart. You're a devotee? You get confused. If some kids, kids are simple heart. Yeah, I'm a devotee. What else? We're like, I don't quite know. So we're some sort of devotee, at least we think like that. But we have concept that we'll get enjoyment in the material world, right? And that one conception is always putting pressure on us, isn't it? Always putting so much pressure to bring us out. And especially if you have hard time in the ashram or hard time in devotee association, sometimes you go through periods of difficulty. And then what happens is your actual conceptions start to come at you very strong. If your real conception is in Krishna consciousness, if it is only artificial imposition, artificial imposition means you don't have faith in Shastra. You're not really imbibing the concept of coming from Shastra. That concept isn't coming inside the heart. That means those other concepts are sitting there very nicely. They're not being destroyed by proper shravanam. As soon as you have some challenge in the ashram or challenge in devotional service, immediately those conceptions will be activated and you will go out. And you see many times like this when devotees have difficulty. And they say, I don't know, just like my other friends are just like, they're so accepting and understanding, and just devotees are very judgmental. This thing happens many times. And then they leave. Why are they leaving? What is the reason? What is the reason? Yeah, they're conceptions. We wouldn't even call them misconceptions, just whatever your conception is. It's very powerful. You understand? This is why modern education is called a slaughterhouse. Because modern education, they have a big serving of misconceptions, and they say, come here. And then they dump all the nonsense on you, and then your mind becomes filled with these things. It's hard to come out. You understand? So, from this misconception about Krishna, all your hopes, all your actions, all your knowledge is finished. You don't obtain your desires. So what do you get? Rakshasam asurim shaiva pakritam mohinim shritaha. Krishna says you become a demon and a rakshasa. A rakshasa means a man-eater. So that's kind of intense. Now, Rakshasa also means one who is influenced strongly by tamagun, or the mode of ignorance. And asura means someone who is strongly influenced by the mode of passion. So Rakshasam asurim chaiva pakritam mohina shrita. You take shelter of the material energy, which is deceptively attractive, mohina. Mohina means like deceptively attractive, prakriti, and you become a demon, or you become a Rakshasa. So instead of, you're on path of bhakti of some sort, you're on path of gyan or path of karma, but you have this idea about Krishna, which is wrong idea, then you will take shelter of attractive prakriti and you will become a demon, or you will become a man-eater. One in the mode of ignorance or one in the mode of passion. I mean, if you say man-eater, there's so many people who don't believe in Krishna. They're not man-eaters, but it means someone who is strongly influenced by ignorance or passion. So this would be the result. If you don't understand Krishna properly, what will happen? You'll take shelter of attractive prakriti, maya, and you become asura or rakshasa. You want to be an asura? You want to be an asura? Or rakshasa? You want to be a rakshasa? No. Yeah, I'm thinking in my head, I don't want to be, I already am. One who is falling cannot fall further, right? So if you want to come out of that, then you should get right concept. So how we get right concept? By studying Bhagavad-gita. That's where you drill the intelligence so that your right conception will come. Next verse, next two verses, these will be the last verses that I'll cover from this long passage. So this is verse 13. So Krishna has talked about those who have misconception. Now in verse 13, 14, Krishna talks about the devotees who accept Krishna as he explains about himself in that previous passage. Mahatmanas tumam parta dhaimyam pakritam ashritaha bhajantyananya manaso gyatva bhutadamavyam. So two means but, to distinguish them from the previous category of persons that he was just talking about. So, but the Mahatmanas, the great souls. The word Mahatma means great soul. The Mahatmas, how do you become a Mahatma? Question is coming. So all our acharyas give same comment, Prabhupada also in this point. How do you become a Mahatma? You start a political movement like Gandhi? That's how you become Mahatma? We were here, anyway, I'm not mentioning that. We were hearing something the other day that I'll not mention. How do you become Mahatma? Worship Krishna. Why you want to worship Krishna? How did that concept come to you? Through? Yes. Who was speaking the lectures? No, who? Was it Gani speaking lecture or devotee? Yes. So there's an answer. One becomes a Mahatma by associating with Mahatmas. Mahat Sevam Dwaram Ahur Vimukti. Mahat Seva, Seva to the Mahat, the great souls. And you can render Seva to great souls simply by hearing from them. That is also called a Seva, although it doesn't seem like it. And perhaps we're not very good at that particular Seva. As soon as Sadhu begins to speak, everyone. like the Titanic ship going down. In some degree. So we may not render very nice seva, but that is also a seva. Shravanam is seva, bhajan. So by associating with Mahats, prasangam anjaram pasham atmanam kavayo vidu, sad eva sadushukrito moksha dwaram apavritam. I haven't quoted this verse in a long time. So prasanga anjaram pasham atmanam kavayo vidu. Everyone knows, not everyone, learned persons know, kavis, that strong attachment, prasangam ajanam pasham, strong attachment to matter is a rope that binds you to this world. Saeva sadhu, that same strong attachment when applied to a sadhu, moksha dwaram apavritam, it opens the door of liberation, opens the door to freedom. You are attached to something, you're attached to something, you're attached to this. What is this called? iPad. You're attached to the iPad, isn't it? Huh? You don't know? I can do an experiment with you. Suppose I take your iPad, I don't give it back. Will you be upset? That means you're attached. You understand? Okay. So you're attached to iPad, and we're also attached to so many things. So think about the thing that you're attached to most. You don't have to say out loud because that might be embarrassing. But think about the thing that you're attached to most. And now you apply that same strong attachment to a sadhu. Then moksha dwara, then the door of liberation is open. Then you can become a Mahatma. You understand? Most of the things we're attached to cause degradation, but attachment to Mahatma opens door of liberation. So too, the Mahatmas who have become Mahatma by associating with Mahatmas, simply by hearing from them, by serving them, they've become Mahatma. Daivam pakritam ashritaha. They take shelter of the Daivam pakriti. So this means a divine nature, spiritual nature. Or some of our acharyas said this means they maintain they get the mentality of a deva. Because previous verse said rakshasam asuram, right? So there's a rakshasa in the mode of ignorance, there's an asura in the mode of passion, and then there are the devas in the mode of goodness. They worship God, they worship Krishna. So Daivam Pakrita means you get the nature of a deva, and you become a devotee. You have inclination to worship God. Right? That's why I asked you want to be asura, or you want to be rakshasa, or you want to be deva? Which one? Deva. Why you want to be a deva? Because devas worship God. So this Daivim Pakritam Ashritam means they attain that mentality like a deva, they worship God. There's another meaning here. What type of worship do they perform? Bhajanti Ananya Manaso. They worship Krishna. Ananya Manaso means with a mind that knows no other. Not like the example is given like prostitute. Prostitute externally shows her love. Hey, sweet thing. You want to, like this, talking, talking sweet words she is saying. But she's only thinking about your money. This example is given by Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, actually another commentary, but I'm remembering now. Bhajanti, externally she associates and she speaks sweetly to you, whatever you want her to speak, or him, as it were. But the male process seems like a different. The female one works really good because of seeing too many TV shows. She will speak so many things to you, whatever you want to speak also, but in her heart, she's only thinking about money. So most of us have like this sort of bhajan, prostitute bhajan. What is that verse? Mamsha avyo bicharena. So avyabichari means one exclusive. Vyabichari means like prostitute. That's where Sri Vishnu makes this comment like this. So most of us do prostitute bhajan. You know what is prostitute bhajan? I just explained it. What is prostitute bhajan?
You're doing it, but thinking about something else.
Yes. You do prostitute bhajan? Sorry, man. You do prostitute bhajan? So these devotees here that have the Daivi Pakritam, they take in shelter of spiritual nature, they do nice bhajan. Ananya Manaso, their mind knows no other, they're only thinking of Krishna. Gantva Bhutadam Avyayam. Minimally, they know that Krishna is the source of everything, the cause of everything, and it's imperishable. So his form is not human, it's not ordinary. That minimum they know because they have heard from sadhus. So therefore, they're performing bhajan in this way. So Krishna doesn't speak of a result. He's just telling that they do worship of him. And how do they do worship? What does their worship consist of? This next verse, this last verse we'll cover. This very nice verse. Satatam kirtayanto mam yatantash cha dridavrataha namashyantastamam bhaktya nityuta upasate. So how do they do bhajan? Satatam kirtayanto mam. The first thing is they always doing my kirtan. The first symptom of these Ananya Manaso people, the Mahatmas who have become Mahatmas by associating with Mahatmas, and they have minds that know no other. This Ananya Manaso mentality is indicated by Satatam Kirtan. They're always doing kirtan, my kirtan. Satatam means in karma, karma means the karma mark, the path of karma for the karmis. You need to have the proper place, the proper time, the proper person, the proper paraphernalia in order to perform the practice properly. But here, by saying Satatam at all times, that means there's no consideration of time, there's no consideration of place or person or various paraphernalia. You can chant Hare Krishna anywhere. Anywhere you can chant Hare Krishna, some names of Krishna. Even if you're in the bathroom, you can chant. Although some devotees say that's not good. Bring holy name in there. One time, Mahaprabhu, the story is there. Was it Guru Goswami? Gopal Guru Goswami. You know this story? Mahaprabhu couldn't stop chanting. He was always in ecstasy. So one time he tried to grab his tongue to stop it from chanting when he goes to the bathroom, because bathroom is an unclean place. So you don't want to bring the Lord. Imagine you just bring the deity with you into the bathroom. It's disgusting, right? Especially if you have to do number 2. So Mahaprabhu was going to use bathroom apparently, and he wanted to not chant to bring the holy name in there, so he was holding his tongue. So that obviously must look very weird. So one young boy was there. His name was Gopal. So he asked Mahaprabhu what you were doing. So Mahaprabhu said, bathroom is an unclean place. I don't want to bring the Lord there, so I'm holding my tongue so I'll stop chanting. Otherwise, I cannot stop chanting Lord's name. So this little boy said, but what if you leave the body while you go in the bathroom? That'd be a horrible way to go. You're like, I don't Okay, I don't want to get too graphic, but you're using the bathroom and you're like, and the soul just comes out. The soul just, that'd be a horrible way to go. But anything is possible. This material world, you could die in so many ways. When I was a kid, there was this movie called Final Destination. You remember this movie? You heard of this movie? So the movie is about how death is chasing after some people who've cheated death. And so the people die like all sorts of crazy ways. I actually thought the movie was a comedy because the way people were dying was just so ridiculous. It was kind of funny. I think they did like 2 or 3 of them. So this is another ridiculous way that death can come after you. You took a dump and it was too hard, and the soul just. So Gopal asked Mahaprabhu, what if you're using bathroom and you leave the body at that time? Then how you will be delivered? So you should chant Hare Krishna even while in the bathroom. So Mahaprabhu said, you are Guru. And he was very happy to hear this. So nice story. So this is the meaning of Satatam. Anywhere you can do kirtan of the names of Krishna. And here yatantash means that they're always endeavoring. So Sri Vishwanath gives a really nice comment about this. He says always endeavoring means just like a poor person is always begging at the house of more wealthy people so he can obtain money to take care of his family. In a similar way, the devotee is always searching out devotees from whom to hear from. He makes this comment very nice. He said that is their endeavor, that they're always looking for sadhus from whom to hear. Not that you go to kirtan program and right when it's time for class, everyone checks out, goes to the pizza parlor. The pizza stand would be out, and time for hearing content, everyone goes out. Now maybe culture is changing a little bit in our devotee community. Before it was like that. 2007, I remember. There was kirtan, and then they said, so Maharaj will now speak, and everyone got up. Went outside to the pizza stand and had nice pizza and waited for the class to be, and the class got over, they all came back inside. So that is not the endeavor of devotee, of a Mahatma. The Mahatma is always searching for sadhu sangha. There's so many nice Bhagavatam verses that come to mind, but I'm losing time now. So that is their endeavor. They always endeavor to associate with sadhus and to hear from them and do guhyam akyati prichati. Dhridavrata means they have strong vows, like following a Kadashi. That is mentioned by the Charyas. It's a little discouraging for me because my vrata is not dhrida. Dhrida means firm and vrata means vow. So I will only do bhajan on Akadashi. He said, okay, I'll just watch one YouTube video. Bhajan finished. So Namashyan Tash Tamam Bhakta. So they're always offering obeisances to the Lord with devotion. Nitya Yukta Upasate. Worshipping him and desiring. Nitya Yukta means desiring some relationship with Krishna, desiring to connect. So these are the Mahatmas. The interesting thing about this compared to the other ones is that Krishna doesn't mention any result from this. He just says this is their bhajan, this is their life. And it kind of implicitly indicates that the life of devotion before and after is the same. Before and after liberation is the same. The only difference is that after it is done with relish and before it is like medicine. Just like when you have ignorance or jaundice, the example is given, you have jaundice. If you eat rock candy, it tastes bitter. So you take it as medicine. But after the jaundice is cured, the same rock candy you take with relish and you enjoy it. So before we are experiencing high levels of Krishna consciousness, then it's a struggle. Like I always joke with Abai in the morning time. He always looks like he's about to murder someone when doing bhajan. And then the class starts, he's like sitting over in the corner with his hoodie like this, looking like a thug. That's because, and we are also similar. We don't look evil, we just don't look. Only when the speaker says, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Like the undead coming to life. So that is, but somehow we have some sincerity, so we're coming. But it is like medicine. But if you get, once you advance in Krishna consciousness, the same thing which was medicine becomes nectar. So it's just kind of interesting that Krishna doesn't mention any particular result for the life of a devotee, because their life now and their life after is the same. It's just that before it's like medicine, and after it's like rock candy, sugar candy. So we'll stop there. It's 7:36, so we usually go to 7:45. So I have some questionnaires here. You can look at them. And we didn't finish the passage we're discussing is 11 to 25. We didn't finish the whole passage. But you can answer like 2 of the questions from that passage. And you can look at the questions from the previous sections, which I've already given class on. You already have a questionnaire, right? Whole thing. You've answered 4, let me see, the first part. Yes. Oh, okay. You asked for the whole thing. You look study whole chapter. Okay. So take 5 minutes to look at section 11 through 25. You can look at first 2 questions. You can glimpse at the first 2 sections also, see if you can answer them. Ideally, if you can keep a notebook and put your answers in the notebook and share them with me. I want to see if you're understanding anything. At least if you live in the ashram, you don't have to do it if you don't know. Like I'm telling to these ashram guys, your time should be, and my time also, should be well used. So I want to know if you're understanding the subject matter. So you can keep notebook. Everybody can keep notebook. Abai, you have notebook? You can get one. You have. Travis, you have. So I want to see the answers to your questions. I'll give the other. If you don't have the other questions, just mail me. I'll send you the other questionnaires. I want to see.
How far did you get? What verse?
We're in the 3rd section, verses 11 through 25. And you can answer the first 2 questions on there, because those are the 2 that we discussed. And we did discuss the other verses also in previous classes, so you can look at those and answer also. So can I have iPad? Forever.
Oh,
okay. Now you understand what is attachment? Don't worry, I'm also attached to my gadgets too.
yes.
Upstairs.
Continuation. Yeah. Closely dry.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. You understand? You got it? Abhay, you got it? Everything. I love the enthusiasm. Okay, so we can stop. Are there any questions? Yes. Bhajan means to worship. So to worship Krishna is called bhajan.
So that encompasses like
All the forms of worship, kirtan, hearing, remembering, they're considered 9 major ones. Bhajanera Madhye Shreshta Navavida Bhakti Krishna Prema Krishna Dite Hare Mahashakti. Maharu says that Bhajanera Madhye Shreshta, of all the different forms of bhajan worship, the best are the 9 forms that are mentioned by Prahlad Maharaj and Srimad Bhagavatam. So 9 forms are hearing, chanting, remembering, worshiping the deity, offering prayers or obeisances. Which one am I missing? Padasevanam. Yeah, Padasevanam means like clean the temple. Well, that's related to the deity. It also means like doing service to the tirthas, holy places. Padasevanam was weird. It's got a few elements under Padasevanam. Then Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. I think I may have missed one. So there are 9 mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th Canto, Chapter 5, verse 23. He mentions 9. So out of the different forms of worship, these 9 are best. They have great power to deliver love of God and Krishna. So the word bhajan means, it just means to worship Krishna. So, seva, you're doing any seva in the temple, that is also a type of bhajan. All right, any other question? Otherwise, 2 reflections before we go. Yes.
How are we supposed to shift our attention from material objects to, I guess, sadhana? Like, you said we're supposed to try and associate with atmas.
Yeah.
Easy. So how are we supposed to transition?
Yeah, how are we supposed to shift our attachment from material objects to sadhus? Yeah, by bhajan. That's a good answer for everything, but it's like that's like a rubric. Just do bhajan. It's a very difficult thing, actually. Yeah, we have to associate with sadhus and give ourselves an opportunity to become attached to them. So unless you do sadhu sangha, it's not possible to get attached. So in sadhu sangha, Rupa Goswami says means 3 things, basically. And Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Srimad Bhagavatam Artanam, Aswado Rasaki Saha, Sajatya Ashesh Nigde, Sadhu Sangatudo Vare. So he mentions 3 things. You should taste the meanings of the Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam Artanam. Aswado means you should taste the meanings of the Bhagavatams. Rasaki Saha, with a sadhu who's really into it. Rasika means he's connoisseur of rasa. He really understands Shastra deeply. That's the first one. Sajati Ashe, he should be, Sajati means like-minded. And like-minded, I've asked this question for many years to many different sadhus, like what does like-minded mean? There's a huge spectrum, beginning from just someone that you somehow relate to the way that they explain things. There may even be something psychophysical that's relatable for you, and extending all the way up to attraction to the spiritual world. Like you have a certain prospect in spirituality, and they are also embodying that which you're after. It's called a sajati, like-minded. And the third quality is that they're affectionate. And Jiva Goswami mentions in the Bhakti Sandarbha that unless a sadhu is shows some affection to us, we'd not be able to get attached to them. So generally, these are three things that one might look for that helps us to become attached to sadhus. Also, just rendering menial services, including the service of hearing. I mean, I had that experience with Ayendra Prabhu for sure. He was very affectionate. Anyone who did kirtan with him, enthusiastic, he was super affectionate. And even though if you hear his lectures, he sounds like mafia almost sometimes, and it sounds scary. But actually, personally, for most of us, many of us who got a chance to actually associate with him, he was super duper affectionate, especially the boys who did kirtan with him. So it was very easy to get attached to him. And he was always speaking Srimad Bhagavatam or like tattva, very even very nice Krishna katha was always coming out of his mouth. Samukaritam bhavadiya vartam, and he was very attractive. And like-minded. There was like-mindedness there. He was American, so even on that level, relatable. He didn't talk like an Indian, for example, or something. And also, he kind of spoke about things that you were attracted to in terms of spirituality that made you go deeper into that spirituality. So they're like that. You got attached, even without your desiring to. Also, you got attached. Of course, making it very strong just means you have to render a lot of service to that sadhu repeatedly. And then the attachment will become strong. But at least the seed of it comes up like this. So we have to give ourselves an opportunity to become attached. Usually what we do is just hang out with people that are like nonsense like us. So we don't give ourselves an opportunity for too much sadhu sangha. Or we know the sadhu is there, but we keep a safe distance. Isn't it? I mean, I know I have that mentality at least. Sadhu is there, Jai, but I keep a safe distance and I hang out with people who are like me. Nonsense, fool, rascal. So if we can give ourselves opportunity, then there might be a chance to get a little attached. But at least we should know that that is a good thing, that attachment can be used and that it can save our lives. Those are some suggestions.